Are you an engineering owner that has to do compliance on an engineering team? Or you're a compliance team member that has to gather a bunch of evidence from engineering teams, and you're just sick and tired of hearing oh, compliance just sucks. Compliance is hard. There's no value in compliance. I really hate working to gather all this evidence crap, and these audits they're just so inefficient. I just don't understand how these things add value at all. Well, you're not alone. And today I'm going to talk about 2 key tips you can do to really change the engineering's mindset and actually show them on paper how compliance can be not only efficient, but how you can give back tens of thousands of engineering hours so they can go work on really cool new forward-facing features that our customers love and want to have every day. And if you stay to the end, I've got a bonus tip for you on the way that you can actually further increase the efficiency and really have the engineers love you for actually being a great steward of their time. My name's Milan, and in the decades I've spent both as an engineering and release manager for a $5 billion product to now as I manage a compliance team for a large number of SaaS services where we do all the auditing with engineers on every day, I can tell you that this has been an ongoing challenge. I mean, I can tell you one time where I was talking with a very senior engineering leader, and we were talking about some compliance and some work we had to go do and the costs and the time challenges. And I was pretty new to the team, and he just looked at me in frustration. He said, Milan, I spend 8 figures a year on compliance auditing, which is over $10 million. And he said, I just have no idea. Is this work being done efficiently? Am I getting my money's worth? I mean, is it even being run effectively? I don't even know. I just know I have to go do the work, and it frustrates me to high heaven. And I said, I understand. I go, give me some time and I can kind of show you whether or not we're running it efficiently. But that just goes to show you how important it is to kind of change the mindset with engineering leaders about compliance. The first tip is you really have to change how we measure success, let's just say for auditing or any compliance work with engineers. The challenge is this. Most people that write the evidence collection or run compliance, most of the time they're not engineers. Remember, engineering, if you're an engineer like me, compliance has always been considered kind of like the micro or the dirty job of engineering, right? Nobody wants to do it. They think it's a waste of time, but it's just not true because everybody knows that compliance is the #1 trust vehicle with customers, meeting the frameworks, getting good audit reports. And it also is not only just the trust factor with customers, but it opens new markets. I mean, you can almost not go into any market today without some kind of compliance framework. So it's so critical that you understand you have to change the metric of just completing evidence collection to the one currency that all engineering teams care about, that I cared about as well as an engineer, and that's time. You only have so much time in a sprint. So as an engineer, I cared about how long it took me to go do something and how efficient it was. So what does that mean for an audit tracking time? It really means this. It means that if you make the assumption, and everybody knows you have to collect the evidence once in an audit. There's hundreds and hundreds, up to thousands of pieces of evidence. The challenge is not collecting it once, because you can plan for that, how long it takes. The challenge is the unplanned work. It's how many times is that piece of evidence going to come back from the compliance team? It says, not complete. I need more information. I need to bring the engineers to explain it because what was given to us, we can't really comprehend how it's supposed to fit in with the control framework or the control that this evidence is for. That's been a huge problem. And as an engineering leader, what I care about is unplanned work. How much unplanned work is that? Well, you can start tracking that in compliance. You can track the requests to see how are they coming back. Are they making it through the first time? Because that's a good thing, right? You have to collect it once. So when you can, on paper, show the engineering leaders that you're a good steward of their time or you're minimizing the unplanned work, it will raise the engineering relationship to a level that you'll never even comprehend because they will know that you're being a good steward of their time. Now, tip 2 is slightly different. In order to get good results for tip 1, which is tracking it one time through, you have to do work with the audit requests that are coming from the auditors. A lot of times you get these requests from the auditors, and again, they're written by non-engineers who don't understand your development processes. So what does that mean? It means that the compliance team needs to translate that into understanding for the engineers, where the engineers can understand that how to get the evidence that's being asked for and ensure in that translation that it's going to be complete and accurate. Because remember, if you don't do that work, there's a high probability that in the audit, the auditor is going to say this doesn't meet what I need. We need more information. And you're trying to eliminate that unplanned work as much as possible. If you're finding this information useful, I'd really appreciate a like. And if you subscribe and hit the bell, you'll get notified of other topics. But more importantly, down in the comments, like I'm giving you the 5-minute or maybe slightly over 5-minute overview of what it takes a long time to do with a lot of detail. So if you are interested in more detail, leave me a comment. I'd be happy to do a longer session in more detail. Now, the bonus tip is really, you can do that work with the auditors before the audit. Now, we've had huge success with this because as an engineer, when I did this on my engineering team, I could not afford the unplanned work to disrupt my sprints. So I wanted to eliminate as much ambiguity in the request as possible, and you can do it as well. When you get the initial set of evidence, get it in advance. Then what you do is you go collect sample evidence. You take the sample evidence, you go sit with the auditor and you say, is this complete and accurate? Do you understand it? Do we have to put more instructions in for the engineers, or do we have to give you more information from the engineers on what this evidence really means? Because if you do that, what ends up happening is you get a much higher, what I call first-time resolution rate. The first time you collect a piece of evidence, you want it to get all the way through. And as you raise that FTR, I call it, then what that does is you can show on paper how you're eliminating waste and unplanned work for the engineers. And I can tell you, for a couple of my projects, I was able to show on paper that we were saving tens of thousands of hours at 30 minutes of kickback. Every time something gets kicked back, we just put a 30-minute cost in it to read it, go get new evidence, pull an engineer in. You can save thousands of hours. And as you build that trust with engineers, what you'll find is they'll want to do more work with you, because as you're seen as a good steward of their time, they will stop seeing compliance as necessarily just an overhead function, but they'll also want to partner with you more in order to get more efficiencies. I really hope this has been helpful. And again, if you'd like a longer discussion on this, please leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you what's worked with you as well. Have a great day.